Hello, my freedom-loving friend. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, where we get to watch videos together as yours truly calls out the lies and corruption of tyrants, absurd woke BS, and highlighting the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Today is a special day where there's plenty of lies and corruption to call out from the tyrant Nancy Pelosi, specifically on her and her husband's insider trading. Now, this is nothing new. They've been doing it for a long time, but there's a new insider trade that they made that's worth a lot of money. They're being called out on it and trying to deny that the insider trading they're doing is insider trading. And then we're going to start with, there's a few things we'll go through. Let's highlight the grace of Nancy Pelosi. But we'll start with a video taken just recently of a reporter asking Nancy Pelosi if she's ever given her husband trading advice. Now, just context, if you're like, dude, who, what, JP? Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, Keeper of the Crypt, in my opinion. And then her husband, Paul Pelosi, is a big-time Silicon Valley investor. He runs an investment firm, which shockingly always outperforms the S&P 500, which is really hard to do. How's he do that? He's married to Nancy Pelosi. Now, also, after we go through a couple things, which are lies and corruption of tyrants, I'll show you something here at the end that I think will just make you laugh your butt off. I love it. So let's start with here recently when Nancy was asked the question. See what she does.
In the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay.
That's so great. First off, no. You are stupid. I never even thought that I could do that. Of course not. Oh, we're done here. Just watch it again real quick. Watch how disingenuous this tyrant is when she's denying what she's done, and then she just leaves. If she was truly innocent, she's not. But if she was, you wouldn't have this tone, you wouldn't have this body language, and you sure as hell wouldn't be sprinting out of the building in your 189-year-old body that can still barely move. This is a work of art.
In the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay.
Okay. We're just done here. All right, what else? So here's the recent trade that has sparked the current pressure against the Pelosi's, that sparked this reporter to ask Nancy Pelosi this question. So Paul Pelosi, let me just read this. This is from New York Post. Everyone is outraged that Paul Pelosi purchased in June between $1 million and $5 million worth of stock in a company called Nvidia, semiconductor company. They make microchips. That's the gist of that, which is bound to benefit from legislation before Congress this week, which will give $52 billion in subsidies to the computer chip industry. So in other words, Nancy is a Speaker of the House. She runs the House of Congress. Congress is going to be voting on whether or not to give $52 billion to the computer chip industry. But the week before they do that, Paul Pelosi says, why don't I just buy $5 million worth of stock in the semiconductor computer chip industry? How does he know to do that? What if Nancy knew how the vote was going to go? Well, she wouldn't really know that. She's just the Speaker of the House. She wouldn't even know the House is going to vote on this thing. She certainly wouldn't know how everybody's going to vote. So she wouldn't be able to go home and say, hey, Paul, we're going to approve $52 billion of funding to the computer chip industry. And Paul says, that's awesome, Nancy. Hey, let's buy $5 million worth of NVIDIA. Ha ha! And then he buys it. The House does their thing. And it's estimated like right off the bat, his investment goes up by 10%. So just like that, he makes $500,000. It's not high. I was going to say it's hiding in plain sight, but it's just in plain sight. There's no hiding. There's denial of the tyrant saying, no, we're not doing what we're doing. But this isn't the first time. Let's see. There's actually so many instances of Paul Pelosi buying stocks in industries that Nancy helps regulate at the federal level. That's insider trading. It's great. But there's another example that's just great. For instance, Paul Pelosi exercised options to purchase 25,000 Microsoft shares worth more than $5 million on March 19th last year. Less than 2 weeks before, the Army announced a $22 billion contract to buy augmented reality headsets from Microsoft. And shockingly, it boosted the value of the shares. Ugh. Rules for thee, but not for me. Like, insider trading is illegal. It is a crime. So then we could ask, wow, cool. Nancy Pelosi, she has an estimated net worth of $120 million. I've heard also estimates as high as $140 million, but let's go with $120 million. How does she get that high of net worth? Insider trading. She has a approximate salary as Speaker of the House of $20,000 a year, yet her net worth is $120 million. So we can understand how her net worth would be that high if we acknowledge insider trading. But if we don't do that, then it's like, dude, she earns good money, $20,000 a month. Dude, that's really good. Of course, she's rich. Let's just see here. I'm going to do a little math. So with a handy-dandy calculator pulled up, we've got Nancy Pelosi's $120 million net worth on a $20,000 a month salary. But of course, that's good money. So let's just find out. $20,000 a month salary, so that's $240,000 a year. Let's see how many years she has to work to be worth $120 million. How many zeros is that? So that's 1.2 million. That's 12. That's 120 million. Divided by 240,000. Yeah, 500 years. So she would just have to work for 500 years on a $240,000 a year salary, not pay any taxes, save every penny, not to mention the fact like living for 500 years. And that completely explains her $120 million net worth. It's great. And then this is phenomenal. So even Democrats a lot of them are actively voicing disapproval for Nancy Pelosi's insider trading. So there's been basically a ban on insider trading proposed that would prevent members of Congress from trading individual stocks. They could still buy mutual funds and other like non-individual stocks. But believe it or not, Nancy Pelosi is against this ban on insider trading. As you can see on the Breitbart, here's her rationale. We're a free market. Okay, that doesn't mean insider trading, Nance. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said members of Congress and their spouses should not be barred from trading individual stocks as part of the Stock Act, citing a free market. Great, Nancy. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's corrupt. She's a tyrant for so many reasons. But what's interesting to me about this in the sense of maybe something will change is the fact that all the members of her Democratic Party aren't just blindly following her and gaslighting everybody about it. Even irate AOC, she's actively voicing disapproval for this. So the fact that even the Democrats are like, hey, guys, like, we can't sweep this under the rug, Nancy. Like, you're doing it in plain sight. Nancy's like, well, it's a free market. Paul, buy some more semiconductor stocks. I've never told him anything. So maybe something will eventually be done. I don't know. But for me, the awareness of freedom-minded people knowing what's going on is important. And even if you say, well, JP, knowing what's going on, that doesn't change anything. Well, there's a lot that it doesn't change. But here's something that does change. The more you see what's going on, the corruption, the lies of tyrants, the gaslighting, the less trust and faith and obedience you pledge towards these people. So seeing what's going on, for me, it creates a powerful change at the individual level. I'm guessing you and I weren't on the verge of trusting Nancy Pelosi about anything. But still, it's really cool to see this kind of information getting out to the masses. Now, I want to conclude this video. A friend of mine, and just hilarious comedian Ryan Long, made a video about Nancy and Paul Pelosi after this recent semiconductor stock purchase prior to Congress voting to give, what was it, $52 billion of funding to the semiconductor industry. So here on Ryan Long's YouTube channel, video, how to get rich with Nancy Pelosi's husband. So here he's playing Paul Pelosi. Let's take a look.
Now, if you're new to investing, you're probably sitting at home thinking, Paul, how did the Pelosi household constantly outperform the S&P 500 even when other firms were getting destroyed? How does your wife have a salary of $223K and a net worth of $120 million? But if you sign up for my masterclass now, I will teach you how to buy low and sell high by implementing my tried and tested formula of marrying Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
The tried and tested formula of marrying Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Because that's exactly Paul Pelosi's strategy. It was brilliant packaging. I love it.
While other chumps are looking at fundamentals, I'm looking at fun bags, Nances, and fondling them for that sweet, sweet info. Some of these charlatans will tell you to focus on value and not timing the market, while completely ignoring the value of marrying Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Let's take NVIDIA, for example. This graph could look daunting to some, but investing in NVIDIA can be as simple as waiting for your wife, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, to tell you a bill's gonna pass, making them immensely profitable, and that's my personal green light that it's time to buy. Other investors are out there looking at charts and graphs when they should be looking at their wife, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's classified document. You know, finance school is not going to teach you how to buy an option to purchase 25,000 shares of Microsoft less than 2 weeks before the Army announced a $22 billion contract to buy augmented reality headsets. But my masterclass will. And once you've made your money, I'll also teach you how to have your wife, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, deny.
No, absolutely not.
Good girl.
The whole equation to getting rich off the market: marry Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, have her deny it. Ryan captures this beautifully. It's a little bit left.
Absolutely not.
Good girl, Nance. It's a ride or die right there. Some of you might be thinking, yuck, I could never, she's gross. And while it is true that Nance and her guns are taken, our investment course will offer a detailed list of all Congresswomen's whereabouts at all times for you to take your pick and try to wed one. Congresswomen like Susan Bonadici, or you're going to be Ricci, or let Rosa DeLuro bring her the info. Virginia Fox. Hey, politics isn't for hot people. It's for people who want to get filthy friggin' rich. Pat Kamak. Tell me there's not a lot of inside info inside that body. Eddie Johnson. All right, okay, this is not great, but I promise you there's some doable ones. Marcy Kaptur. You couldn't, for 100 milli, you couldn't, that's not gonna work for 100 milli? Listen.
Would you marry her for $100 million? Would you sleep with her for $100 million? Dude, Paul Pelosi, we need to have an intervention. Like, I think he's married to the grossest human being. Like, is Nancy gross physically? Oh, yeah. But that pales in comparison to how she's gross psychologically. She's just like whatever a demon is in human form. There you go. And Paul Pelosi says, yeah, I'd marry that for 100 mil.
If you're fine with underperforming the market, just turn it off right now or you can forget we even spoke. Nanette Berrigan. You could get inside that for some inside info between me and you, right? Lauren Boebert. Although we do recommend Democrat Congresswomen, the media goes a little easier on them. Got in a little Dewey situation a little while back and Nance took care of that too. The bottom bitch. There's lots of snake oil salesmen out there like Warren Buffett trying to give you what they call traditional investment advice. Warren Buffett says invest in what you know and nothing more. With our methods of marrying Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi or someone similar, what you know will now include inside info affecting companies' profits. Warren says when you buy a stock, plan to hold it forever. Well, we plan to hold stocks till your wife, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, has information that will negatively affect the company. Trading stocks with my formula is like going to the casino and the dealer is Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and you're married to her. And there's no congressional oversight. The question is, how bad do you want to get rich?
Oh, man. I love Ryan Long. If you haven't checked him out, he's got other stuff you'll probably love. You can find him on all the social medias. By the way, his ads are super funny as well. We're not going to watch it, but check it out. So that's the latest on, well, the latest, just to use a very limited vocabulary. That's the latest on Nancy Pelosi's insider trading. Will there be more? Yeah. There will be, unless she's shut down ever. But she regulates the people that would shut her down. Dude, yeah, like think about that. She is Speaker of the House, which means she's like kind of in charge of the House of Congress. And they're the ones that would try to shut her down. A little hard to do. That's like the team trying to get the head coach to do something else. It'd probably be an uphill battle. And the Congress is filled not with all people, but a lot of people who are like, dude, corruption's my love language. How can I get involved? Ryan would say, well, just marry Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Sell your soul, marry the devil. It's cool. With that said, my freedom-loving friend, if you want a little assistance helping spread the freedom vibes in your life, you're welcome to check out all the classic designs and new designs in my merch shop, only at awakenwithjp.com. And in the meantime, I'll be coming at you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with new reaction videos calling out the lies and corruption of tyrants, laughing at absurd woke BS, and highlighting the amazing work of other freedom fighters. And for you, my friend, thank you for being on Team Freedom with me. See you next time. Stay free.